Welcome back to the deep dive discussion of dystopian novel Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. Today we discuss Chapter 11.
Yeah, and we're jumping right back in, aren't we? Right after that massive scene.
Absolutely. The director's public humiliation, John screaming, "My father!" I mean, talk about a cliffhanger.
Totally. So now, Chapter 11 deals with the fallout. How does the world state handle this? Well, this savage suddenly in their midst, and his mother, Linda.
It's fascinating, the contrast. John becomes this overnight sensation.
You were right. Everyone's clamoring to see him, the savage. He's like the ultimate reality show star dropped into their world. It's shocking, it's amusing, it's consumable.
But Linda, it's the complete opposite. The source says she cut no ice. Nobody wants anything to do with her.
And the reasons are just so revealing about the world state. First off, the whole mother thing.
Oh, yeah. That's beyond taboo. It's described as past a joke, like fundamentally obscene to them.
It represents everything they've wiped out. Family, biology, emotion. But then there's her physical appearance.
Which the book is brutally honest about. You know, she's aged, she's overweight, her teeth are bad.
The line is something like, you simply couldn't look at her without feeling sick. It's harsh.
It really underscores their obsession with youth and manufactured perfection.
Yeah.
Anything natural, anything showing decay is just repulsive.
So Linda's essentially hidden away.
Yeah.
And what's her focus? What does she want from civilization?
One thing. Soma.
That's it. For her, this is the ultimate escape. Civilization means an endless Soma holiday, you know?
Yeah.
Way better than peyote on the reservation, which had those uncomfortable, moral side effects for her.
Right. She called those shamefully antisocial. Soma is just pure bliss, no strings attached.
And she really goes for it, asking for more and more, apparently getting up to 20 grams a day.
Which is a lot. And this leads to that conversation Bernard has with Dr. Shaw. It's quite something.
Oh, it's chilling. Dr. Shaw is completely matter-of-fact, says the Soma will finish her off in a month or two. Respiratory paralysis.
And then he adds,
And a good thing, too. Just like that. Because they can't rejuvenate her, so accelerated death is basically convenient.
it's pure utilitarianism, zero humanistic concern. But John pushes back, doesn't he?
He does. He asks the obvious question from his perspective. But aren't you shortening her life?
A simple question that just highlights the massive gap in their values.
And Shaw's answer is peak world state logic. He's like, well, yes, in time, sure, but we're giving her these huge, immeasurable durations out of time. Drug-induced bliss equals eternity.
Such a perversion of the concept. Eternity becomes this solitary chemical state.
And John, thinking of Shakespeare, just murmurs that line, eternity was in our lips and eyes.
From Romeo and Juliet, right?
Yeah.
Such a beautiful contrast. Eternity's shared love, shared human experience versus Shaw's drugged isolation.
Shaw just dismisses it like, hey, he justifies it by saying Linda has no useful work to do anyway, and the alternative is her being, quote, screaming mad.
So John is basically shut down, and Linda's existence is just this synthetic bubble.
Yeah, that room on the 37th floor. Constant radio, TV, patchouli scent, Soma on tap. She's physically there, but mentally she's just gone on that permanent holiday.
Where music becomes colors, TV is an all-singing feely, smells of the sun, total sensory overload,
Yeah.
but completely artificial and passive.
And the final kicker, Shaw thanks Bernard for the chance to study senility.
Ugh, she's not a person, just a rare medical specimen. So disturbing.
While Linda fades out, Bernard Marx, our former outcast, is having his moment.
Suddenly he's Mr. Popularity. How's that happen?
It's all because of John. John's the main attraction, but Bernard holds the keys. He's the gatekeeper. So overnight, he gains this outstanding importance.
And all those old insults just vanish. No more cracks about his height or his blood surrogate.
Nope. Suddenly, Henry Foster's friendly, Benito Hoover's giving him free gum. Even the assistant predestinator is begging for an invite. It's a total 180.
And the women.
Oh, the book says he could have whichever of them he liked. Even Fanny and Lenina are suddenly finding him sweet.
His parties are suddenly the place to be for the world's state bigwigs.
Absolutely. Chief Bottler, director predestination, professors, deans. The whole establishment wants a piece of the savage action through Bernard.
And Bernard just eats it up. He's even boasting to Helmholtz, isn't he?
Yeah, about having 6 girls last week, which is, well, it's quite the turnaround.
But Helmholtz isn't impressed.
Not at all. He listens, the book says gloomily disapproving. He just feels rather sad. No envy there.
Why sad, do you think? What's Helmholtz seeing?
He sees Bernard hasn't changed anything. He's just playing the game now, accepting the shallow values popularity, sex as status that they used to criticize together. Bernard's lost himself in the very system he claimed to hate.
And Bernard gets offended, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Helmholtz doesn't cheer him on.
Totally offended, vows not to speak to him again. The success, as the book says, went fizzily to his head. It reconciled him to the world because the world finally validated him.
So his previous alienation wasn't really about principles, maybe. More about being excluded.
Seems that way. Now he's in. He fits. He still puts on a show, criticizing things a bit.
It's like a performance.
Exactly, to heighten his sense of importance. But deep down, the text suggests he actually likes the success, likes having the girls. It's a bit hypocritical, maybe.
Predictable, perhaps, but people see through it, don't they?
Oh, yeah. Behind his back, they're already saying his downfall is coming. They know his fame is tied completely to John. He won't find another Savage, they say. His status is incredibly fragile.
But Bernard's oblivious, just enjoying being the tour guide, showing John civilized life.
Yeah, acting like a visiting world controller, feeling lighter than air. They go up the Charrington Tower, see the rockets.
And John's reaction to the speed, 1,250 kilometers, is just very nice.
Polite, but then he immediately compares it to Ariel from The Tempest, circling the Earth in 40 minutes. His benchmark is poetry, magic, not technology.
Which Bernard notes in his report to Mond. John's not amazed by gadgets. He keeps talking about the soul.
And Mond's reaction is interesting, too. Annoyed at Bernard's squeamishness about saying mother, but also amused that Bernard thinks he can lecture him, Mustafa Mond, about society.
And the factory visit. That must have been a shock for John.
Huge. Seeing the Bokanovsky groups?
Yeah.
It's described so starkly.
All those identical workers doing mindless, repetitive tasks. 83 almost noseless, black brachycephalic deltas.
47 blonde heads were confronted by 47 brown ones. It's the ultimate dehumanization, people as mass-produced parts.
And John's reaction. He quotes Miranda again.
Oh, brave new world, but this time...
That has such people in it. The irony is just dripping. It's horror, not wonder.
Absolutely. He physically rushes. He literally can't stomach seeing humanity reduced like this.
Bernard, of course, just clinically notes it down for Mond, framing John's attachment to Linda and his reaction here as like an interesting example of conditioning versus natural impulse.
Always the detached observer, Bernard. Or trying to be.
Next stop, Eton, the school for alphas and betas. 1 egg, 1 adult.
Which the provost says makes teaching harder, but necessary for leaders who might face, unexpected emergencies. Even their education is purely about system maintenance.
While Bernard's off flirting, John's baffled by things like elementary relativity.
They see the Malthusian drill for the non-Free Martin girls, too. Constant contraceptive practice.
And then the geography lesson, where savage reservations are just places not worth fixing.
And they watch that film, the penitentes from John's home, the self-flagellation, the rituals.
And the Ian boys.
They shouted with laughter, found it hysterically funny.
Pure amusement, suffering, and belief. It's chilling.
John is completely bewildered. But why do they laugh, he asks.
And the provost's answer.
Why? But because it's so extraordinarily funny. No comprehension of John's distress at all. It shows how deeply empathy has been conditioned out.
Meanwhile, Bernard's feeling bold, putting his arm around the headmistress. Power corrupts, maybe? Or status does?
Something like that. Then the hypnopedic control room, sleep teaching central.
John asks about Shakespeare.
Big mistake. Certainly not, is the blushing reply. Only reference books allowed. No solitary pleasures like reading that might lead to independent thought. Distraction comes from feelies, group activities. And death conditioning. Kids coming back from the crematorium.
Yeah, starts at 18 months. Visits to the dying, toys, chocolate cream on death days.
All designed to make death utterly commonplace, stripped of any feeling or significance.
Just another routine event. Then they see the workers lining up for their Soma ration.
4 tablets a day, 6 on Saturdays. And John makes another Shakespeare connection.
Yes, Merchant of Venice. He asks what's in those caskets, comparing the Soma boxes to the choice Portia suitor's face, appearance versus substance. What's the real value here? Bernard just says, oh, that's the Soma ration. Misses the point entirely.
Okay, let's shift focus a bit. To Lenina. She's also getting a boost from all this John mania, right?
Definitely. She's in demand, lectures, feely-tone news. Everyone wants to know about her connection to the Savage.
But she tells Fanny something interesting. Yeah, she confesses that despite all the buzz, she hasn't actually slept with John. And she kind of wishes she had. I wish it weren't, she says sadly. Her conditioning is screaming for that physical consummation.
She's confused because he avoids her sometimes, stares at others. But she does say simply, I like him.
There seems to be a genuine, if maybe shallowly understood, attraction, but her mindset is perfectly captured in that song she sings.
Oh, right. Hug me till you drug me, honey. Kiss me till I'm in a coma.
Love's as good as Soma. It explicitly equates love, or what passes for it, with being drugged into oblivion or just intense physical sensation.
Which sets up their big date to the
Oh,
Feelies.
3 weeks in a helicopter. And the description of the Feely experience is just, wow, total sensory assault.
Scent organs, music, 3D images, and those knobs for direct physical sensations. Almost intolerable galvanic pleasure on the lips and face.
And the plot is just ridiculous. Vulgar, sensationalist, big black guy, blonde beta plus girl, accident, kidnapping, rescued by 3 alphas. She becomes mistress to all 3. Happy ending on a bearskin rug.
Pure, unadulterated, lowest common denominator, physical stimulation.
Exactly. And John's reaction is complicated. He feels the physical effect, the tingling on the lips, but his mind instantly recoils.
He feels pale, pained, desiring, and ashamed of his desire. He feels not worthy. The Feely works on his body, but his values reject it utterly.
And he tells Lenina straight up, it was horrible, base, ignoble.
And Lenina is just baffled.
Completely astonished. She thought it was lovely. She cannot understand his reaction at all, just thinks he's being so queer.
The gap between them is just enormous at this point. Morality, art, pleasure. They're on different planets.
The taxi ride home is silent, tense. John's wrestling with himself, bound by unpronounced vows, shaking sometimes.
He's caught between his ingrained morality and the confusing desire stirred up by this world and maybe by Lenina herself.
And when they get to her place, Lenina is totally expecting him to come up. Standard procedure, right? She's thinking, at last.
But John just stares, forces out a goodnight, gives this weird grimace.
And bolts, leaves her standing there.
Where does he go? What does he do?
Straight back to his room. And what does he reach for?
Shakespeare.
Othello. He starts reading, finding real depth, real tragedy, real humanity, everything the Feely lacked. He's comparing Othello, another outsider maybe, to that crude Feely character. Literature is his refuge, his reality check.
And Lenina.
Left totally confused, upset, crying even. And her solutions.
The Soma. 3 tablets, enough to knock her out and maybe make her late for work. Escape the unpleasant feeling.
Exactly. That's the world state way. Don't confront difficulty, just numb it.
Wow. So chapter 11 really throws John headfirst into the realities of this world, and his reactions just constantly clash with everything around him.
It's all about those contrasts, isn't it? His horror versus their acceptance, Linda's death, the factory, Eaton, the Feelies. He's repulsed, they're indifferent or even amused.
It really makes you think about different kinds of escape, too. Linda's Soma oblivion, the Feelies as manufactured pleasure, Bernard's brief escape into status.
And John escaping into Shakespeare, into his own moral code, which seems increasingly alien in this context.
It definitely prompts you, the listener, to think, okay, what aspects of our world might seem utterly bizarre or repulsive to an outsider? How does our own conditioning shape what we find normal or funny or acceptable?
Yeah, how much does comfort and conformity maybe blind us? You see the Etonians laughing at suffering. You see entertainment designed to bypass thought. It makes you wonder.
That final thought the chapter leaves us with is pretty powerful. The society has achieved stability and comfort, yes, but at the cost of empathy, critical thinking, maybe even basic human connection. When amusement replaces compassion and sensation replaces meaning, what's left?
A really potent question to consider.
Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to see you when we discuss the next chapter.